Welcome back, artists. In this video, I'm going to do a peonies painting for my friend Megan. Her favorite color is purple and her favorite flowers are peonies. And so I'm going to do this for her as a gift for her. Before I started the video here, I took a little bit of time just to catch some thoughts and put them down on paper, do a preliminary sketch, kind of get some ideas going. I came up with some of the blooms for the peonies here. It's a good idea always to connect your shapes. I also put a few out here to make the outside edges interesting, give it a little more interest. A couple of buds here, and then just capture some of the basic composition here. There's another one here, and keeping the peony going off the page here. We've got a bit of a leaf. These great big beautiful blooms that peonies have. They're really beautiful, elegant flowers. All these gorgeous petals. I might just touch them here. And they have these cascading petals that fall away as the bloom matures. Their initial buds are really quite... Maybe stick another one off here. Stay true to my original design. And just to help tie it to the corners, I'll run the stem down there. Got a little bit of a gap up here. So I'll give him an odd-shaped bloom. This big one there. Come down here with my stem. And then an old trick of mine is, since symmetry is hard to sketch when you have a perfectly round bowl, is to offset the leaves so that it hangs down on one side. And the human eye likes to create complete shapes. So as long as I sort of create the impression that this is a glass bowl, a glass vase, then it'll look right to the human eye. All right, so there we go. There's our basic table block, in here with some more green, maybe up in here a little bit just to offset it. All right, there's a very rough sketch. I'll compare that against what I originally had. A couple blooms. I like that. Looks good. Now I could ink this in and do a line and wash. Those are very beautiful paintings, but I'm inclined to probably just do a traditional watercolor. Line and wash is often associated with illustrations, and I really do love them, but I think I'm going to just start right in with my colors. Here's my typical palette in my good old early 1950s Walt Disney palette paint box. Now I do like, as many of you know who follow my channel, this watercolor graphite right here where my brush is graphite, been treated chemically to dissolve in water. It's the same stuff that you use in your lead pencil I was just using to draw out this preliminary sketch. But what it lets me do is it lets me, as this intermediate step, think about lights and darks. Slows the process down a little bit so you think about things, which is important. A little time to plan things out a little bit, make some adjustments here. And since we have to have shadows, have to have a shadow side to have a three-dimensional object, which the flowers and the vase and everything obviously is, we've got to have a shadow side. Now, as you can see, I'm left-handed. General rule of thumb is that unless you put the source of light in the painting itself, for left-handers like me, by default, the source of light is off the page at 10 o'clock. If I were right-handed, by default, the source of light would be off the page at 2 o'clock. Being left-handed, I will follow conventional wisdom, which then means all my shadows come to the lower right. There's my bowl. And I like a fast and loose design. I like to enjoy the painting process, have fun with it. And I just need enough of the darks to hold my piece together. Like I said, the human eye will want to complete shapes. I think that's fun to do. Okay, so we're going to do purple. Obviously, that's red and blue. That is a secondary color. Let's try our crimson. That's nice, beautiful, dark, rich red. And then I'll try some cobalt. This should give me a good, strong cobalt blue with alizarin crimson. Mix up a good batch of it here. All right, a nice strong purple. I like that. Yeah. Okay, we'll start in the middle here. Come out and around. Okay, now we're calling these peonies, but depending on how they paint them, they might look like roses here too. So I'm going to go a little bit light. Now I'm going to vary it just a little bit. Put in a little bit of red. Since it's a secondary color, I like to do this. Play a little bit with it. Let the color mix on the paper. I think that makes things a little more interesting. Gotta move while the paint is wet. Here at room temperature, that means roughly within a minute, minute and a half or so. Make up my mind what I'm gonna do. I like these great big blooms with these petals falling off here. So here's this one back here. Now, typical watercolor, the paint goes wherever the water goes. So as I was mentioning, as long as I act, make up my mind, decide what I'm going to do. If I act while the paper's still wet, then the paint will go there. Another one up here. Run him off the page. Here's another one here. Just block him in quickly. Put a petal falling off. And then we've got these very round blooms that these have. Give him a little bit on the shadow side. Same thing over here on this guy. There we go. I like that little strong color in that. I love the variation of paint between strong and catching this about right here. So again, I'm mostly just letting the water go, over painting some, I realize, but we can carve back in, and I need a little bit here with this, our buddy up here. Okay. Now, a little added interest, I'm going to scrape through a little bit. This is a timing issue when you do this scraping. You've got to get it when it's about half dry, half wet, and if your timing is right, so if you're a little too early like I was there, it'll backfill, it'll fill back in. But if I'm about right, you'll see the scrape that I put in there. A little bit of line work makes things a little more interesting. Stab a little more color on that guy there, and then trace it around a little bit. Okay, all right, that's looking like a hot mess. Oh, I forgot this guy here. Let's block him in real quick. And the sort of petals at the top there. Okay, all right, so there we've got sort of our flowers blocked in. Maybe just a little bit here. Okay, I'll overpaint this big bloom down here. All right, so now let's do our leaves. I've got sap green and viridian. Just start with the sap green a little bit more. This will help shape my blooms like we were talking about earlier. And then we've got stems coming down into our vase. I'm going to assume this is a glass vase. All right, and then a little touch of blue on my vase. Very similar to the way we did our blooms. Okay, let's see if I can scrape any of the leaves here. There we go. You have to press down pretty hard to get it to work like this. Oops, pardon me. Get the table shaking, get the camera shaking. Sorry about that. Okay, well, it's starting to take shape here a little bit. Now I'm going to come back in here a little bit more. I to travel around. These peonies, they have all these, so many petals to their blooms. This one here, I show these, but to paint each one would drive you crazy. So I have a little bit of variation and keep things interesting. I'm going to set this on a tabletop. Got raw sienna there and quinacridone burnt orange here, wooden table. And then a trick I like to do, I like to have a couple petals drop down on the table. A little bit of interest. Helps to have a little bit of color uniformity, ties the top of the bottom a little bit. It's kind of a fun trick to do. Keep the painting fun and alive. All right, let's do our shadow again. I'm intentionally trying to keep a white line between the bottom of the vase and the tabletop. This is similar to establishing a shoreline on a landscape. A little bit of Prussian blue. I want to show a shift in the planes. The flat plane of the tabletop intersecting with the roundness of the vase. Let's get a few stems in here. All right, now just to tie it together, I'm going to put a little bit of sky in. I've got some blue on the bottom. Again, this is fast and loose, so I'm going to intentionally be a little bit sloppy. Higgly-piggly, as the British would say. I think it gives a little bit of interest. And then when I use the cobalt and sky blue, again, that's color harmony, using the same basic colors. I do a value shift from the top to the bottom of the painting here, so I keep this light. And that is admittedly a little bit of glazing. Real light mix of cobalt blue. Glaze. Let's do a light coating on the shadow side. Help reinforce the peonies. A little calligraphy jumping around here. All right, mix up, get a real sloppy bit of paint and fling it on there. All right, a little bit more. Okay, so we've got some blue, we got a little bit more with the red. That's going to be overdone. I'm kind of getting close to overdoing it right here, so there we go. Get on these big blooms. Okay, all right. Well, that's a hot mess, but I kind of like it. I think it's interesting. All right. So I think we'll call that good. Let's compare it to my other one. As you can see, I got some splatter on my original sketch, pardon me. Yep, basic, same design, more or less. There's the blooms, source of light from the upper left towards the lower right. Okay, well, I'll let that dry, and then I'll notify my friend Megan about her painting, getting her peonies done. Thank you so much, everyone. Please subscribe, please like, give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.